The Indian taxman needs to be consistent while executing the Finance Ministry's policies, or else India faces a huge credibility crisis. That's the message coming straight in from KPMG's global chairman, Micheal, in an exclusive chat with ET Now's Ashwin Mohan.
I think this is the big issue that India faces, is a credibility issue, because I think often India announces really good policy initiatives, really great infrastructure projects, very visionary stuff. It's the actual implementation and execution by the bureaucracy that constantly confounds international investors.
But would you agree with the theory that there seems to be an apparent disconnect between the vision at the top and the execution at the bottom?
Well, it's hard to know, because some of this might be historical. Some of this might go back 7 years or so, well before and predate the Finance Minister's announcement. I'd like to think that when he comes out and says those things on behalf of the elected government of the country, then foreign investors can actually rely upon those being executed consistently by his administration in the future.
All right. How would you compare India's tax regime to the tax regimes in other developing economies?
Well, India is a very complex regime, but that's not to say that other countries aren't. Brazil, I would single out, for example, a very good example, where there is also a high level of tax disputation, whereas if you actually go, for example, to China, you'll actually find there's very little tax disputation. It's actually quite a clear and transparent system that everyone knows what is actually happening. So, result of which, that is a competitive advantage for them in rating those issues. When you go to a country like Mexico, it's a very clear system. When you go to a country like Turkey, it's also a very clear system. And what I think India needs to grasp sometimes is it's competing against the tax systems of those countries in terms of attracting foreign investment.
All right. Now, as global chairman of KPMG, you've been in constant touch with high-profile clients all over the world. Have you sensed a feeling of fear, at least amongst MNCs, regarding the uncertain tax regime in India?
Look, I think it's one factor, but I think I sense the same issue in terms of the issue of permits, the same issue in terms of tackling corruption issues here, the same issues in energy sourcing, the ease of doing business. I mean, India is ranked 132 in the world for ease of doing business. And if it really wants to attract multinationals, then this is clearly a key KPI that it needs to work on to bring that into a much more reasonable regime.